Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to our winter quarterly community meeting, which is also called our community catch-up. My name is Greg Hunter. I'm the board president for West Hill Community Association. I'm pretty sure all you guys know who we are, since we've all invited you. So, but thank you again for taking the time out of your day for coming by and learning about what's going on in the community. So, first up, do you want to talk about events right now, or do you want to?
Sure, can say a couple words.
We're going to have Devin come up for some events.
Yeah, hey everybody, welcome. My name's Devin Chickers. Applaud for this guy too. Okay, that's President Greg. I am Treasurer Devin, and Events Chair Devin, and Communications Director Devin, and those other things. I'm so excited to see everybody here today. We have such a great turnout of amazing, wonderful people. Similarly, we have such a good lineup of speakers. So you're going to be hearing about a lot of things to do, see, and get involved in. We do that kind of stuff all year long here at West Hill Community Association. One of those things is with our King County Parks Volunteer Program, which we have a lot of King County Parks folks here today. We're going to be doing an Earth Month cleanup in the King County Parks, Skyway Park, on April 26th. I have that date memorized.
Yes.
You can register online. Just Google King County Parks Volunteer Program. We do have another King County Parks representative over here too. Didn't mean to just say it was over here. All over the place.
Right there.
You guys are
Right
many. I love it. In addition to that, we're going to be doing some additional pop-up events throughout the year. So if you're into some fun stuff, maybe like some board games or trivia nights, follow us. All you have to do is go to our website. I'm sure it was up here at one point. Our social media channels, anything like that. If you don't know how to get to those things, we have flyers in the back. We would love to get you connected. We have ways to join our newsletter, join our social media pages, text me.
Or volunteer.
Volunteer. We will keep you in the loop. We're trying to build a tighter, more connected community. We know there's a lot of uncertainty going into this year. Things are a little bit wild, right? And we all got to be here for our neighbors. So we do want to build a stronger community, and we're here to do that. Do that with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so feature presentation. We are going to start off with Sound Transit's Boeing Access Road Station with Brian Masick. Thank you. And Katie Drew.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Brian Masick. I'm a project manager at Sound Transit. I'm joined by... Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Masick with Sound Transit. I'm a project manager, and I'm joined by Katie Druhl in Government and Community Relations. I'm here to talk about the Boeing Access Road Station, which is a new station that Sound Transit is planning on the existing one line. Next slide. And thank you for having us. Quick agenda. I'm going to try to be really brief to give enough time for questions and discussion. So if I am going too fast or you have a question along the way, feel free to raise your hand. Don't worry about interrupting. So we're going to go through kind of background on the project, how we got to where we are today, what we've heard so far from various communities in this area, and then our next steps. So I always like to start talking about this project with a little history. The Boeing Access Road Station goes as far back as 1996 in Sound Move. The first question I always get is, why is this station located where it is? Why is it being proposed here? It was originally proposed to have a Link light rail station meet a Sounder station, which is why it's kind of in this weird area right next to I-5 and Boeing Access Road. So along the way, a lot has happened. The station was deferred due to funding. Then later on, the Sounder station was removed, and then thanks to all our wonderful voters, Sound Transit 3 was passed in 2016, which included the Boeing Access Road Link light rail station. And that's why I'm here talking to you today. We are fully underway in planning and about to start design. Next slide. So a little project overview. Sorry if the map's small, but we've got fact sheets over here, and you can also check out our website. This purple box here on the right side of your screen is right at I-5 and Boeing Access Road, in between I-5 and the Sounder railroad tracks and the BNSF. So green is the existing Link light rail alignment, blue is Sounder. So we're planning a new station At one of these two locations, we're still working through that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But a new station, it's going to be elevated because the guideway here is elevated. It includes bus transfer facility, 300 stall surface parking lot, and new access to the station. And we are scheduled to open in 2031. Slide. Yeah, I know, a long time for folks, but pretty fast for Sound Transit. Don't intend for you to read this whole slide, but just to let you know what we've gone through to get to where we are. We're in this green box. We looked at where a station could be located within the ballot measure, within ST3. It said in the vicinity of I-5, Boeing Access Road, and East Marginal Way. Our one main requirement of where a station could be is the track has to be straight. So if you imagine a platform can't be curved where the train is pulling up to it and opening its doors. So to have safe access on and off the train, it needs to be straight. So that limited where a potential station could go. Then we looked at kind of fatal flaws, and then qualitative, and then quantitative assessment. And now we're here looking at these two locations and diving into the details. And eventually we will take one location into what we call conceptual engineering and environmental review. So as I mentioned, we're looking at these two sites. What we call our representative, that was what was in the ballot measure, is right off of Boeing Access Road in between I-5 and the Sounder tracks. And the other opportunity here is down on East Marginal Way, just north of 112th. That's where there's another location of straight track. So now we'll kind of jump into a little bit of what we know about these two sites. This is a view of the site on Boeing Access Road looking to the northeast. I-5 is just off the screen there. This is down the hill, taken from a little access road. A private property owner has built a parking lot there. But what this picture really illustrates are the challenges with building a station here. The topography is really challenging. So Boeing Access Road is about the same level as the guideway. So getting cars or buses or other vehicles would have to go under the guideway. Building a station would require a level in between the ground and the platform, what we call a mezzanine. So it'd be more vertical circulation to get up there. One of the biggest challenges here is access. It is hemmed in by the highway, by the railroad tracks. It doesn't have water service to it. It's got some wetland issues. So it's a challenging site to build a light rail station, but it is one of our options. So, and then this is a view of the East Marginal Way location. This picture is taken from the sidewalk on East Marginal Way looking north. This site, as you can tell, is much flatter, much easier to access, but also has its challenges. To build a platform here, we'd actually have to shift the road out. We can't have the platform overhanging the road. This box here on the left is actually a substation that powers our trains. So that would either have to be moved or reconfigured, which would be challenging. And you can also see there's buildings fairly close to the guideway here, which also makes this challenging to construct. But it is closer to jobs and housing, so that's one of the main benefits, and access. There actually is a way to walk here. Currently there's sidewalks, and getting to the Green River Trail would be a little easier. So I thought I'd pull, and this is for either location, but just to give you all a flavor for this area, an approximation of how you would get from here to the station or vice versa. We pulled some potential future King County Metro routing, what they call Metro Connects as their long-range vision. This would be a combination of the routes 107 and 124. So you're probably familiar with the 107 that runs right by here. That would go across I-5 and then pick up the northern piece of the 124, which goes up East Marginal Way, kind of past Museum of Flight. So that'd be about a 15 to 20 minute travel time, and this is all approximate on Google Maps, so don't quote me on anything. Driving, there's different options. There will be a 300 stall surface parking lot. There would be pickup drop-off options, and of course there's hopefully Metro Flex. You might be familiar with that service, a ride share similar to Uber and Lyft through Metro. And then walking and biking would be a little more challenging. It's farther, and there's not currently contiguous facilities right now, but hopefully with the station we'll see a lot of access improvements. So just kind of summarizing what we've heard over the last year, we've done a lot of interviews, community events similar to this one. We had an online open house, in-person open house. And from what we've heard in general sense, and this is just 4 bullets, but we've heard a lot. But to summarize, we've heard support for the East Marginal Way location without even asking folks. We've heard a huge emphasis on safety and accessibility is really important to be able to get to and from this station, and minimizing construction impacts to our existing service. So, as I mentioned, this project is unique for Sound Transit. It is being built on an existing guideway, so to do that, we're gonna have impacts to service. We don't know exactly what that looks like right now, but we're gonna have to balance construction time versus impacts to our existing riders. That will take the form of full shutdowns, sometimes single tracking through a lot of it, where a train can only be on one side and then have to switch to the other, reduced headways. So there will be impacts, and it's all going to be a balance and various trade-offs we're going to have to look at. And then we've also heard different opinions on parking. We've heard a lot of folks kind of in the Tukwila area noticing the Tukwila International Boulevard station is often full. Their parking lots are full. So they'd like to see more parking here. Some people think 300 is too much parking and would like to see that money go to other things. So we've heard a split on parking. And so just quickly what we're doing now, we just had a briefing with the Museum of Flight staff. They're very interested in potentially using LINK to get to work. There's a lot of school groups that go there. A lot of Raisbeck Aviation High School is there. A lot of interest in that area. Here tonight. Then we have a larger meeting, very similar though to this, next week at the City of Tukwila at their community center. You all are invited. And then we'll also be going to the Museum of Flight first Thursday, which is the free event at night. So like I said, our next steps moving forward, we've been through kind of the alternatives analysis for the past year. We're going through these briefings now. We hope to go to the Sound Transit Board for them to pick a preferred alternative. And that can launch us into conceptual engineering and environmental review. So these are just some random questions to prompt you, but I'd love to hear if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas. Joel.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. My first question, it looks like the people are really liking the one. What's the one? The
East Marginal.
East Marginal. The other one that's closer to the rail and the sounder, if it's placed there, is there an opportunity for a new sounder station?
It's
there?
not currently within our planning right now. That would have to be a new project.
And where is that located? We didn't hear the first part.
So Joel was asking if the location selected by the board was the site at Boeing Access Road and I-5, is there the potential to have a sounder station? And that's not currently in Sound Transit's plans right now. That would be a new capital project. Yeah.
Accessibility, safety. We have massive problems on
And
that
so the
stretch
question
road.
was about access, safety, accessibility. So Sound Transit, as part of the station construction itself, would improve the immediate area around it. And then we also have what's called our access allowance funding. So all the Sound Transit 3 projects were given money to improve access to and from the station. So we've already been working closely with the City of Tukwila and the City of Seattle to look at new sidewalks, bike lanes, signals, crossing improvements, all those things, connecting to regional trails. So yes, that will definitely be a part of the project. Those details haven't been figured out yet. Yeah.
So thanks for coming.
Great.
I dropped my little brother off at, I think it's the Edgewood station that's closest to right now, south. And I just wanted to say that those surface level stops there, there really is no convenient place for me to drop them off. I'm pulling into that little Master Mini Mart and busting the Yui and just doing a bunch of weird stuff. So I was hoping you guys could take that into consideration, especially since the Skyway communities have to travel so far to get there. It'd be nice if there was a drop-off zone or something like that.
Absolutely, 100%. So we're also working on an infill station at Graham Street and MLK, just north of Othello. And we have heard that loud and clear from the beginning days of Central Link, the one line, to now. We definitely need a designated pickup drop-off area, and we are planning that as part of the station for sure. Yeah, and we're also looking at, there's interest from various groups for shuttle services, like employers are potentially interested, King County Metro could be interested. There's ideas out there. So right now we're making sure we hear all that, so we need to start planning for space to have it, and then as we get further into design, we'll start looking at the specifics of where all that would go. For sure. Yes.
So What's your plan to engage the Skyway community? We're almost 20,000 people. We're a little more unique being unincorporated.
Yeah, so we're trying to do, go where people are. So like this meeting, thank you for the invite. We're doing online component, we're doing in-person components. We've done a lot at the Tukwila Community Center. We try to go to existing events, farmers markets, community festivals, fairs, things like that. But if you have other things, other groups you'd like us to come to, we're happy to meet you where you are. Yeah.
So I'd like to return to the Rainier Beach Station.
Yeah.
There is really no parking there.
Correct.
And that's problematic, because, I mean, 107 is like a block from my house, but it takes like 25 minutes to get down to Rainier Beach. And by car, it's like 7 minutes.
Right.
And if there was parking, I would use the light rail a lot more than I do. And, you know, there's that kind of like weird office building with multiple colors on it that's empty. And it seems like maybe that could be turned into parking or something. I mean, are there any plans at all?
Yeah, so it's interesting you bring that up. The city of Seattle doesn't allow for parking at their light rail stations, so that's a conscious decision of that jurisdiction. But as I mentioned, so this station is planned to have a 300 stall surface lot with it. And so that's what we're planning. That's what was in the project description, and that's what we intend to deliver.
So there's no parking because City of Seattle says no parking?
At the stations within the city of Seattle, correct? Yeah.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for that.
I think here first, and then go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we were involved with, light rail and, doing the eminent domain on that one. And the reasoning was because if you have gigantic garages at every single station, there's gonna be no place for all those apartments and no place for people to have businesses or anything else. So there was actually a legitimate reason to have everything. And it's nice, I'm glad that they're all planning having them there. I thought that the original, station there at Going Access Road was actually on Martin Luther King. The original one that was finally deferred. And so it was just before they had curved around and went over across the rail.
Not to my knowledge, but I can look into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question.
Okay. One more question in the back. Yeah.
I found using the MetroFlex really convenient. They're to my house within 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at most. But that's just an alternative to needing to drive down there. Is just using that service. It's been really great. So.
Yeah, thank you for that. For those that didn't hear, Metro Flex is a service offered by King County Metro where it's similar to an Uber or Lyft. You just ask for a ride, they'll come pick you up and take you to a light rail station. It costs the same using your Orca card to get there, so free transfers. And we're working closely with our partners at King County Metro, both on fixed route service and hopefully Flex to serve this station. So.
The flex service only goes to certain areas.
Right, yeah, correct, yeah. And so I know my time is up. I have a bunch of fact sheets on the table in various languages that I'll leave, and apologies, Katie and I have to run, but feel free to reach out to Devin or our contact info is on our website. Reach out to us anytime, we're happy to chat. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Brian and Katie. So next up is King County Local Services, and Bong San Domingo will be coming up to introduce his staff.
Thank you. Hey, good evening. I want to take a picture of everybody. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it'll go on unincorporated area news. I'm Bong Santo Domingo. I'm with the Department of Local Services. And we brought we went heavy today. We've got Leon Richardson, our director, back there. We have Danielle, the clerk, our deputy director. And the big boss at the mall is Jamie Halter, and she's going to be talking right now. Come on, Jamie.
Okay. I pay him in pizza. My name is Jamie Holter, and I do communications for the Department of Local Services. And I'm here tonight. I have lots of things over. If you're not familiar with our office hours, please feel free to pick up one of these. We have the office hours in every one of our communities. If you wonder what Local Services does, this is what we do. You can contact us. And if you are planning a remodel or something on your house, take down a tree, this is information about permitting. You might need a permit for that. But tonight, I'm here to talk about the new minimum wage in unincorporated King County. So a quick civics recap for those of you who have been away from high school for a long time. An ordinance is a law that is passed by the King County Council. The rules are how we implement it. So if you run a bakery, it's gonna look, this ordinance will look a little bit different for you than it does if you're Home Depot. So remember that. So the minimum wage is the lowest amount an employer can pay an employee. A couple of years ago, King County looked around, the King County Council looked around and noticed that unincorporated King County's minimum wage was $16.28, which is what the state minimum wage is. They looked at the city of Tukwila, $20.29, Renton, city of Seattle, and this just didn't seem really fair. We have a lot of kids and a lot of people who were working for minimum wage, so they had a couple of choices. They could take a few dollars less, or they could hop on a bus and go to a different place, which kind of put our employers in a bind too. Because if you're really struggling trying to find people to work at your bakery or your daycare, and they know they can just go a few more blocks and make $4 extra an hour, what are you gonna do when you need money? So the King County Council said, let's solve that problem. So they voted to have a new minimum wage. And this is where the minimum wage stands in 2025. Washington State, which is what we were before, pays $16.66. This is for 2025. SeaTac Everett. The unincorporated King County is in the middle. Seattle, Renton, Tukwila, and Burien tops out. So we raised it, the county council raised it a little bit, but didn't go all the way up to the top end. So the new minimum wage affects you if your business is in unincorporated King County and if the work is done in unincorporated King County. So where is unincorporated King County? Well, right now you are in unincorporated King County, but if you're not sure if you're in King County or your business is in King County, you can scan this code, put in your address, hit search, and it will put a little pin drop and it will tell you you are in unincorporated King County and therefore this minimum wage applies to you, or you are not. And there are 7 other jurisdictions, as we saw, that pay different amounts, so you will pay that amount for minimum wage. So, $20.29 is the top minimum wage. The council recognized that small businesses like food trucks, daycares, ones that operate on a really small margin, needed a little bit of time to phase in. So they created a different scale, and it depended on the number of employees and the gross worldwide revenue. So these are the small businesses. And this is how it breaks down. If you have 15 or fewer employees, and an employee is defined as part-time, full-time, employee owner, family members, that's one section. That's the smallest business. The next one is between 15 and 500 employees. And if you make less than 2 million globally or more than 2 million globally. So if you are the smallest business, if you're a very small daycare, bakery, restaurant, this is probably what you're gonna pay. If you have 15 or fewer employees and you have a less than 2 million gross revenue worldwide. You will take the minimum wage, which this year is $20.29 minus $3. So your minimum wage for this small business is $17.29. In 2026, it will be the new minimum wage minus $2.50. 2027, minus $2. So you're probably wondering, Why did you just like put minus up there? Why didn't you just give us a number? Every year, there's a new minimum wage that's calculated based on the Consumer Price Index. A whole lot of government math that they decide what your cost of living, you know, some of us get COLAs, some of us don't, cost of living adjustment, but that's what they go into factoring that. So whatever it is, this year, it's -$3, next year, -$2.50. And by 2031, you're gonna be at the same level as a big business. If you're a medium-sized business, that means you have 16 or more employees and you have more than $2 million in global revenue, it's $20.29 minus $2. So your minimum wage is $18.29. And again, if it's more than $2 million, it's the same amount. It's $20.29 minus $2. Okay, so where's your business in the equation? You take the average number of employees employed in the last 12 months, and an employee, as I said, is part-time, full-time, paid family members, teenagers, anyone who owns or draws a paycheck. Your gross worldwide revenue. There is no exceptions for tips, housing, education, piecework, 14 and 15-year-old workers, and owners who work and are paid. And if you own a business, please document all of your paperwork. It will just be used if there's a dispute. So here's where we are in this process. The ordinance is passed on January 1st, 2025. The new minimum wage is $20.29. We have some rules, and that guy back there, he's going to be making some of those rules. He's going to be making those decisions regarding those rules. So look at the ordinance, but more importantly, look at these rules. And I have a copy over there. You can get them on the web. Do they make sense to you? Do you have an issue? We've been doing a lot of outreach, and there's a lot of small businesses that are giving us feedback. Now is the time to talk to us about that. And then you comment on the rules. So again, this is how we got here and what's next. It was introduced, council had discussions, they passed the ordinance, we began the outreach. This is where we are right now. The comment period ends Friday. Then Leon's gonna look at the rules, decide which ones to keep or toss, and then they're gonna adopt the rules. And then this is important. On January 1st, they're gonna convene a group. Oh, I'm up, sorry. So this is what we're working towards, a report. That's it. Lots of information. All right, thank you.
Awesome. I think I got like 2, maybe 3 minutes, or until I get yanked off. So for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Leon Richardson. I'm the Department Director for Local Services. You just had the privilege of hearing from some of my team. Raise your hand if you know what the Department of Local Services is. All right, great. So kind of, sort of. For those of you that don't know what the Department of Local Services is, our job is to serve as the local government for unincorporated King County. And so even though I say I'm the department director, like, consider me kind of like your city manager. If you have a local government problem, question, and you're like, I don't know where to go because I live in unincorporated King County, like, we're that for you. And so, where do you go? Bong, he's traveling all over the place doing office hours, which you briefly heard about. We try to be a traveling like city hall across all of the unincorporated King County to make sure we're showing up where the community is to ask those questions and get feedback. Really, what I just want to offer is, like, your feedback is important to us. We're concerned with getting it right over being right. We want to know where there's issues so that we can lean in and try to fix that. And we're not we're not opposed to positive feedback either. So when we're doing good stuff, we want to hear that too. But I just want to take a few minutes to introduce myself to you all. I'm easy to get a hold of. If you work through Bong, he can pin me down if you guys want to meet with me or talk to me about something. And the important takeaway is we are here for you. We wouldn't have a job if it weren't for you. So if there's things that we can do to support you, let us know, and that's what we're here for. Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you so much, Leon. Next up is Detective Norris with King County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, everybody. No PowerPoint or anything today. Just want to get with everybody. I know it's been quite a hectic, set of holidays, and Happy New Year, everybody. So most of you I've seen at some of these meetings. For those who don't know me, I'm Detective Norris. I'm the Skyway Storefront Detective. So my function is primarily, any events. I go to a ton of school events, a ton of these meetings. Just to make sure Skyway is not forgotten about. So I take whatever I get here. I let my higher ups know the stuff they need to know. I answer a lot of questions. I already know the first one's going to be, when are we getting a new CSO? That's always what we get. So we are going to be interviewing within the next month. I've been told, and that's going to make my life so much easier. Holidays, we've had the normal uptick in, porch pirates, people going for the holidays, so their homes are not being looked after. Something good that we offer is house checks. For those who don't know, you can let us know when you're going out of town, and we can come by, check on your house. That also helps our guys know if we get a call at 2 in the morning, somebody's looking in the window, we know nobody's supposed to be there. So, anybody have any questions, any issues, anything that's going on? Yes, ma'am. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm just wondering about the parking lot that's next to the fire station.
You and me both.
I'm just curious, what's going on over there?
So, everything's going on. That's the problem. So we did contact the owners of that property. We had a meeting with them. We can't dictate what they do because it's private property. They said they would be trying to get everyone kicked off the property. First they said they didn't know anything about it. This was probably, how long has that been now?
At least 4 years since the first
been a
people
while.
started moving in, the pandemic. Yeah.
It's been a while. They said they were going to have their attorneys involved and things of that nature. So for us, the only thing we're allowed to do is respond to things that happened over there. Unfortunately, we have more things that happen than we would like. So I wish I could tell you where they are in that process, but because that's a private legal matter, we're not even privy to that information. Yes, sir.
So, we have the Department of Local Services here. I'm wondering if you guys can issue them a zoning violation. So I can guarantee you if I have that mess on my property, the county will be up, my butt about it.
So that would be more of a code enforcement question than the police. They have been notified as well. They were involved in those things.
Doesn't the Department of Local Services handle zoning violations?
Oh, that's something you gotta ask them out.
The answer to your question is yes.
Yes, we have a problem here with that parking lot over by the fire station. There's been fires there before. RVs that haven't been driven down. It's really just not a good living situation for anybody there or for the rest of the community. So I think the request is for you guys to look into that and issue the private owner of that property, since it's private property, some type of zoning violation.
So, Bong, if you could get the address, and then what we'll do is we'll have our code enforcement team take a look at it.
Thank you.
How long does that take? No, seriously, I don't know, we're talking 6 months? How long does it take for you guys to check into it and find out?
Oh, we'll check into it in the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well, within the next 2 weeks, and I just don't know what the schedule looks like. So, within the next 2 weeks, we'll have people go out there and take a look at it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know, so I
No, it's okay.
somebody who, living in a motorhome
Mhm.
on the street, but they're being charged rent from a homeowner. Is that legal?
They're being charged rent from a homeowner
The property owner, they're parked on the street
just in front of the home.
in front of a home,
Mm-hmm.
and the homeowners are charging rent.
So these are public streets, so nobody should be getting charged to be on the street. That is, it would we would need to know the exact ins and outs of whatever arrangement they made. But when people make deals, it becomes a civil thing. So we can't get involved once it becomes civil because it's a he said, she said. We don't know their exact arrangement, so that's what they go to civil court for.
And also, if it's in the county right away, then that's something different. If it's in the county right away, that means the street.
Oh, in the county right away.
But if it's in his property, that's like you said, it's
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
civil.
no, it's on the street.
It's right on the street.
It's on the street.
It's on the street.
Then you need to talk to these
Yeah,
guys.
well, I'll give it back so you can get a little bit more details. Yes, ma'am.
So, Exhibit A told us that it was due to vandalism, we don't have, our internet back up. Was anything said about that? It's over, across, it's Renton Avenue and the, 126th, 127th area.
So we have not been told anything about it. I know it's also Renton area.
It's
Quilla.
regional.
It's
and
a lot. It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of fiber. It's like little
So-
pieces of glass. It takes time when someone goes and cuts through it. It takes a while.
So that is pretty common. We've had it a lot. The fiber optics, they'll cut them out of the ground. If it's not tied down, people are gonna steal it.
What we can also do is I just asked Bong to take a note. We can reach out to the government relations folks at Comcast and see what the timeline looks like. So if whoever has the details on that, if you give it to
The ETA was 5. It was 5 p.m.
So mine just came back on, so it's different for everybody. Mine was 7, and it's finally back on, so I've been told. So and now some of them say midnight. It's all over the place. So, has anybody else got any police-related questions or issues or anything that you guys are seeing that you want us to be aware of? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I gotta get a little closer. I can't hear you.
I'm on a bridge in Mooney, and I was wondering, I was told that I needed a permit for a dumpster in front of my house,
You need a permit for a dumpster?
to have a dumpster dropped off in front of the street.
Oh, that is also not gonna be police related, so I can't tell you what you do or don't need. People ask questions like that, and it's common. I'm always like, sure, go ahead. I don't want to get you in trouble. 'Cause I don't have the right to tell you to do that. So that would be. I'm sorry.
we
Yep.
can get you the information.
Exactly.
You can contact our permitting office and ask your questions for your unique circumstance, and they'll tell you if you need a permit or not, or if it's something that you can just do. Every situation is unique, so I don't want to give you an answer right here, but we'll make sure you get the information so you can talk to the right people.
You might as well come up here with me.
Hey, Bong, aren't you at Skyway Library for permitting?
Always.
Permitting?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I approve it, all the permits. I'm there on Wednesdays from 1 to 5 on up.
So you can go on Wednesdays from 1 to 5.
I'm down on Winter Avenue. We have a maintenance issue, the road is the west side of Rainier, all the way from Red Wing boundary to pretty much to the electric park. And always the last couple of years, 22, 23, I reached out somebody go out from your office, so they can help take care of it. But 2024 I didn't. So I'm just wondering, can you incorporate it in your plan to do some trimming, taking care of those corridors, in doing it through mine, you guys need?
No, so the question was about certain unincorporated King County streets, roads that need maintaining. What does it look like? And so, yes, it is a part of our work plan to send our folks out and to make sure that we're maintaining those spaces by cutting trees back, bushes back, and doing all of that. We have a lot of unincorporated space, and so it does help if we get told that an area is, in particular is bad. That helps us focus, but we do have a work plan where we try to do our best to be all over unincorporated King County to do that. But it is a big area, so sometimes we do miss places. But all feedback is welcome, so if we're missing someplace that needs to be touched, let us know and we'll make sure that we do what we can to be responsive.
And the other thing is on the Lakeridge entrance.
Yeah. So we gotta keep the
There is,
presentation.
huh?
We have to keep the presentation.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but we know how to get a hold of them.
Yeah,
We got it.
if you talk to Bong right here, like,
Bong
we'll
right
get
there.
you
All
the
right.
Sorry about that.
Great. Thank you, Detective.
Yes, ma'am. For me, I'm typically working between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. The storefront. So that one is always going to be locked because we just can't have people walk in and out. So usually you either have to call, or you can call and have us come meet you, or if you just knock on the door, if there's people there, they'll let you inside. We have a front area where we'll talk to you and see what's going on with you and handle whatever we got going on. But there's only 2 deputies in Skyway at a time, so it's hard to catch them. I mean, even today, there's like a crazy case where both of them were on that case for hours, and then there's no one else up in Skyway. You know. The cars, yeah. Yeah.
Until they get a CSO.
Should they call if it's a non-emergency, but they want to let somebody know something's going on?
So the non-emergency line, you can look it up on the King County site. I believe it's 296-3311. I'm pretty sure 206-296-3311. But my time is up, so if anyone wants to see me after, please do.
All right, thank you, Detective Norris. Next up is Randy Matheson with Renton School District.
Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Matheson, Executive Director of Community Relations in the Renton School District, here to provide you some information about your schools here on the West Hill. We'll start off with elementary schools. Bryn Mawr, Campbell Hill, and here at Lakeridge Elementary School, our teachers are providing wonderful education to our students. But the school is also going well beyond that to provide healthcare services for students that may not get it at home, or families may not have access to these kind of services. One of those services is working with a company called Big Smiles, and that provides dental care for students right here at school. So families are contacted. They allow their students to be seen by dentists. Students get screened, they get x-rays, they get fillings, and then they get referrals if they have issues that go beyond these sort of in-house opportunities that they have here at school. So this is happening at all of our elementary schools across the district, and schools are taking a day each week to provide these services. So it's something that our families obviously benefit from, our students benefit from. Our approach is, if the students are healthy, they come to school. If students are sick at home, if their teeth are hurting, they're not going to come to school. We can't provide the education. So it's the process of providing them with the health care that gets them, keeps them in school. Dimmitt Middle School, I'll provide you a little bit of information about that school. That school is working toward becoming an international baccalaureate school for middle schools, which is a high-level learning program. Right now, Renton High School is an IB high school. It's one of the few in the region that provide the IB program. IB, again, it's International Baccalaureate. What that does is provide students with college-level course activities and learning that they can then put on their resume and actually walk into college with college credits, or even moving toward their AA degree as they enter college. So we're working to put that program at Dimmitt to provide higher level learning at Dimmitt, so when they matriculate into Renton High School, they're ready for that higher learning also. Some of the things that's also happening is really creative. Dimmitt Middle School students wanted to do something with their courtyard area, and that included building an area to plant, even in the wintertime, and creating a shed so that students could actually learn some horticultural things from their bringing the science classes out into the courtyard. The one thing that was setting them back, though, is a shed costs money, right? So where are they going to get that money? They're just middle school students with a big idea. They started working with Renton High, and the Renton High kids in the construction class have come on board to build that shed for them. So they met as a group, and these kids are like little CEOs planning out the process for their future, and they're planning what they want the shed to look like, how big it can be, where it's going to fit in that space, how you're going to build it at Renton High and bring it to Dimmitt and put it in place. So they're working together, and it's a really fun project that they're doing to learn from each other. The bigger kids are getting a kick out of listening to the smaller kids in middle school and their plans, and of course they get to show off some of their learnings that that's taking place in construction class. One other thing happening at Renton High School, the Renton High School jazz band, the marching band, the orchestra, and the symphonic band recently hosted all middle school bands at the Renton IKEA Performing Arts Center to give those middle school kids an opportunity to see what it's like to be in high school music programs, to get them really, well, jazzed, right? To get them really excited about getting into high school and joining those programs, continue their music lessons as they get to high school. As we all know, whether you played instruments in school or you got kids who played instruments, sometimes moving from middle to high school, kids get shy, they don't want to start taking those programs. Maybe they're unsure about whether or not they actually are good enough to play in those bands. So this is an opportunity for the high school kids to show the middle school kids what it's going to be like when you get to high school and the programs that you can get involved in when you get to high school. One last thing about Renton High, our program, our process to completely rebuild Renton High continues on track. It's in progress. We're continuing to buy land beyond the back of Renton High. So again, our process is we're building a completely new Renton High campus from Logan Avenue to Shattuck, all the way from 2nd to Airport Way. So that entire space is going to be the new Renton High campus. Tomorrow night, a construction company is going to be presenting the Renton School Board with schematic design for what that looks like. So we're starting to now see what the building's going to look like on the footprint, to include track and field, learning spaces, a new gym, new science wings, and those kinds of things. We're really excited about that project. It's taking a lot longer than we anticipated to buy the land and get it ready to build that new school, but that's because there's about 24 houses and properties on there that individual people own. So we got to work with individuals to buy that land, and then work through the process to raise those buildings and get ready to build on that land. But once we have that all in place, all the buildings are purchased, and the buildings are raised, and the land is sort of processed for building, that building's going to go up pretty quickly. And we're really excited about what the opportunity holds for all of the kids in this school and all the other elementary schools that are going to be able to go to that new school as we open it. The target year is 2029. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Randy. Will this project displace the existing Health Point clinic?
No. We have a Health Point clinic inside the school, so we actually have a clinic that high school students can access within Renton High, but the outside clinic actually is a block away, so that's not in the build area. Yes, ma'am.
What time is the school board meeting tomorrow?
It is at 7 o'clock. It's at Hazen High School. So, yeah, so the school board goes out to schools to host these meetings, and tomorrow night they're at Hazen High School. But if you go onto the Renton School District webpage, you can actually see the presentation. Just search school board presentation, and you should be able to find it.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Is there an estimated timeframe of the school construction, like when it'll start, or an estimated completion?
We're actually hoping to start later on this year, taking down some of the homes and businesses that we've built. So next year, so 2026, you'll actually see some of the activity going on. And again, what the program's going to look like. What's my time here? I got 1 minute. Yep. The front of Renton High, so the old sort of Renton High look on the front on 2nd Street, and the IKEA Performing Arts Center are going to remain. But everything beyond that front part and behind Renton, IKEA Performing Arts Center is going to be completely brand new. And it's going to be a beautiful site, beautiful building, and we can't wait for our kids to get in there and start learning. Yes?
Will that road still be there?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's I forget the name of that road. Is it? Tobin, yes, Tobin. There's a road, Tobin, right between the back end of Renton High School and some of those properties. That's going to be vacated. The city of Renton is going to let us do away with that road so that we can build in that area. Yeah. Okay, that's my time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Randy. Next up is Regina Wundler with King County Parks.
Hi there. Thanks for having me tonight. I am a special projects manager in the Parks Director's Office, and I became involved in the... Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, we don't have a mic tonight. That's okay. I'm Regina Wandler. I'm a special projects manager in the Director's Office for Parks for King County. And I am here to talk a little bit tonight about the Skyway Community Center project. So I'm giving a little bit of an update. Yay! I just became involved in this project last summer, so just so folks know, I can try to find information if anyone has questions from farther back than my knowledge goes. I'm co-managing the project with David Dahl, so you might also hear that name. He also works with Parks. He's in our capital improvements program and has more architecture background, so he knows more about the building side of things than I do. I'm coming in from more land stewardship and land management. We have a project webpage. I just want to point that out because we're trying to keep it really up to date. There's a lot of information on that webpage. If you're curious to learn more after my quick presentation tonight, I'd encourage you to poke around the webpage a little bit as well. That's a long link, so you can just search Skyway Community Center Project Parks, and it will be the first thing that comes up. And the most important thing I really want to flag tonight is we have a community meeting next week on the 27th. It's going to be at the Fire Protection District 20 Administration Building, so where the West Hill Community Association meetings usually are. I think a lot of folks know that room. We're excited to see as many people as possible at that meeting. People attending and giving us feedback there is really important because that is how we're deciding what the future of the project and what the building might look like. So your feedback is incredibly helpful, and one of the really helpful ways to give us that feedback is at this meeting. And you can RSVP. That QR code will bring you to that page. There's also links on that webpage.
For our events calendar.
Yes, thank you.
Quick link.
And then there's also an online survey, and this is the other way to provide us some feedback. It's open for a few more weeks, so if you want to wait until the meeting and then do the survey, you're welcome to do that. But we're gathering info. There's several languages, so we're really trying to get the word out. And thank you if you know anyone who might not have taken the survey. Thanks for letting them know that we'd love to hear from them too. So just a little bit of project background, and I'm going to cover it really fast, but at the meeting next week we'll go into a lot more detail. For the last couple of years, a lot of what the project was focused on was trying to look at different sites across Skyway and understand what potential sites a community center could be put on and what the best fit of sites were, and exploring opportunities. So they were doing a lot of site analysis. We have a design team that we're working with. They're leading the presentation next week, architecture. They build a lot of community centers and different buildings, so that's really what they do, is talk to people and understand what people want. And they looked at a lot of different sites. In their assessment, Skyway Park came out as the top choice. And so Parks has been gathering more information on Skyway Park. We had a community meeting and a survey last summer that some folks might remember participated in, and that was really helpful to hear from people. We were asking what folks thought of this site in particular. And next slide. So in that effort last summer, we were asking for feedback on Skyway Park as the potential site for a community center, and also for feedback on desired programming. What do people want to do at a community center, because that tells us what the building needs to look like. We had a really great meeting at Skyway Library last July. Over 40 community members attended. We have a lot of great feedback that we were able to incorporate. And there's presentation slides from that meeting on the project webpage as well, if anyone's curious. And we had the online survey across 7 languages and got 202 responses, which we were excited about. We're hoping we get even more responses to the survey open now, because the more people who respond, the better of an idea we feel, the more confident we feel that the feedback we're getting is really reflective of what people want. There were a few things that were interesting from the survey and outreach efforts, but I'll just flag this one. That the majority of folks we heard from were pretty supportive of a community center at Skyway Park. 86% had some level of support. There were some concerns that we heard from people about the site, specifically about safety and about the idea of losing some of the limited green space in Skyway. So that's helpful for us to hear. That's been taken into account as we're looking at design options and thinking about what's possible. And we also heard folks flag the need for improved amenities at the park. So in this next outreach effort, part of what we're asking for is a little more feedback. If a community center does go in at Skyway Park, what else needs to happen around the community center to help make sure that the park isn't negatively impacted, and that we can really activate the park and make it a better space for everyone in the community to use and to enjoy a community center being there. The goal would be to find ways to make it a plus in all ways, not a negative. We don't want people to lose anything. So hearing comments that are specific that we can incorporate in design, very helpful. And we got some programming feedback too, and I won't go too into detail on this, but there's a full report on the webpage if you are curious what people flagged. But really what we heard is people are interested in being able to do a lot of different things at a community center. So we're looking at building designs that have a lot of different rooms that can be used in a lot of different ways, trying to balance all of the things folks were interested in having with just the size of a building that we're looking at, which we're kind of exploring a 25,000 square foot building. Next steps after the current round of community input, so this meeting and the survey that are happening, the design team will be incorporating all of the feedback we get to come up with a more final schematic design that will be bringing back out to the community, thank you, in the spring. So there will be another round of feedback to look at that and see, is it really going the right direction? Is Parks doing a good job of actually incorporating everything that we're hearing from folks? And I know that this is a question I've gotten a lot. When would it be completed? And there's not yet an anticipated timeline for actually building. I think there's a potential timeline if everything went very smoothly and we got all of the money we needed, but we're still in the really early planning phases realistically. So we have enough money secured for the planning phase and for the design phase, but we need to get a lot more money for construction. So that really influences. I don't want to tell anyone a date and then not be able to stick to it because it took longer to get the money than we were hoping. But we're hoping to have a better idea of that soon, because as we get farther along in design, we get a better idea of what the cost will actually be, and that lets us have better estimates for how long it'll take to pull that funding in. And once again, I'm Regina. me and David are the project managers who you might come across with this project. We'd love to hear from you if you have any questions. And yeah, hopefully I will see some of you at the meeting next week as well. The design team has architects who can speak to a lot more detail about some of the project elements, and so if you're curious about that, I really encourage you to go and hear what they're talking about as well. Great.
Thank you so much.
So I missed a comment online. I want to honor the people who are watching from home. There's a question, will the Renton High have a swimming pool?
No.
That's currently not in the plans. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
No swimming pool. Come on. Thank you so much, Regina. Next is Charlie. Is going Goodbye. Almost there. King County Parks again.
Yes. Hi everyone, I'm Charlie. I'm also with King County Parks. I'm a project manager that works with community partners that want to do projects on parks property. So that's my connection to the project that I'm gonna share a little bit of an update about. This should be pretty quick. If you have any questions, I have kind of some fact sheets as well that I'll leave over on the table over here. So Black Panther Park, if you haven't heard of this project, is a project we're doing in partnership with Nurturing Roots. This will be a pocket park with a community garden integrated into the design on 75th Avenue South and Renton Avenue South. The parcel has also been known as the Pizza Slice parcel. Previous iterations of the project name have been Skyway Community Garden, so you might have heard of it known as something else. The timeline, we have solidified final design through community engagement efforts earlier in 2024, and then we are hoping to start construction in May 2025, so coming up. Construction is really going to start with some of the major components like the pathways and the parking space, and then initial planting of the gardening components will begin later in September 2025. So I'm really here to plug, if anybody's interested in getting involved in this project, this is a community partnership project, so Nurturing Roots is really looking for partners in programming and construction, also local contractors for different parts of the project. So if you're interested at all in getting involved more in the project, we've got some contact info on these flyers. So yeah, that's it.
Questions? Next up is Amber Stanley and April Dilchamps, S900. And they're with Weststop.
Hi everyone, it's so good to be here again. I feel like it's been forever. So I'm April Dilchamps. I am a planning manager for WashDOT, and I am focused on King and Snohomish County.
And I'm Amber Stanley. I lead community engagement, and I'm on April's team, so I help support the project that we're here to talk about today.
So we've been talking about 900 for a long minute, a very long minute, and so I wanted to make sure we came and gave an update on where we're at, because we are officially starting kind of in earnest the design phase for the vision that the community really helped us set out on how to make State Route 900 a more walkable and friendly place in your community. And we are starting to get to a bit of the nitty-gritty. What we went through on our study was really understanding the vision. And I'm a planner. You do not want me to engineer, similar to probably your comment on architecture. So we have done a lot of work with our design engineers to start cutting pen to paper to have a better understanding of where does this look like. We know we want a shared use path, we want a sidewalk, we want to be separated from traffic. Some of the details we're starting to figure out now is how wide should the lanes be and things like that. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of an update, but I'll lead with my ask in that we really want to hear from you. There's a couple of places during the process where it's really important to kind of get your feedback to ensure that what we design really meets your needs and looks and feels like your community. And I love seeing the word partnerships. We are treading into that, and I would love to talk more about that. All right. So how did we get here? So we had a study that took us 3 years during COVID. It took us a little bit longer than we wanted it to. That was published in summer of 2023. The project that we're talking about now is the design for that phase A or 1. So it is looking at improvements at 129, a new traffic signal to slow down traffic, but also give access at 133rd, a brand new pedestrian crossing that is signalized, for lack of a better way of saying it, near Creston Point Apartments, and then a new bus stop also at Creston Point Apartments. All right, next slide. So here is a picture of the scope, and this is also on our website. I forgot the most important, a shared use path on the north side that's separated from traffic. Our goal is to always make it 12 feet. We're looking at the survey now to figure out if we need to squeeze it, but also can we make it wider in some of the places. Next slide. Here are some visuals of that new traffic signal at 133rd. And then there's not a line at Creston Point, and that is because a planner did this study. There's things like sight line and speed. So we're working to figure out where can we get it in to where it can be safely crossed, even with the lights. And everything we did in the study to identify the needs are really transferring. So we're not starting over, we're starting now with an engineer that is better at math than I probably will ever be as we're going forward. So all of the needs that we went over were now translated into the engineering terms, which are called project baseline and complete streets needs, as well as project contextual needs. Next slide. I wanted to also make a plug, a big thank you. We would not be here unless we'd had so much support from the community, from Councilmember Sahale. This project is funded for both the design phase as well as the right-of-way, and it's nearly 100% grant funded. And that was not gonna be possible without the support letters and the many people that supported as we were trying to go after this money. The one thing I will say is we are not funded for construction, but one of the things that was shared earlier is the further in design that we get, the better we have an understanding of how much money we need. I'm confident we'll have a number by the end of the year, and we're gonna start trying to find money to start constructing this. All right, so here's a couple of milestones. We're at what we call kickoff, which is fancy. We had to do a lot of traffic analysis on existing conditions and survey work to start understanding how much room do we have to work with. So for all the things that we need to fit in there, whether it's a traffic lane or the shared use path, and then also leaving room for that sidewalk for our next phase. Our next, and we're also doing that baseline and contextual needs, and I'll go over those real quick. Our next phase, which we're starting to tiptoe into really now, but it's gonna start up really big time next month, is we're gonna finalize those needs. And I encourage you, if you see something you don't think is quite right, let me know. Or if you see a missing need, it's been a long 4 years since we started the study. There might be something new that we're not aware of. We're gonna be starting preliminary alternatives. That is a fancy way, what are our options as we're going through? Some of the things we're trying to figure out is how wide the lanes are. How many lanes do we need? How wide can we make the sidewalk? Do we need a retaining wall because something's really challenging in that area? And then we're gonna start screening. And what screening really looks at is how well the different options do to meet the needs. A lot of times we talk in trade-offs. Sometimes we can't fit it all. So we want to talk through what are the things that are doing well and not well and hear from you. Our third piece is going to look at some quantitative. So really looking at the math and looking at the numbers of how well, based on the numbers, are we doing for these different options before we get to that recommendation with the community of what is the best option that meets the needs that we've set out to do. All right, next slide. So I wanted to go over this because one of the things that I struggle with is just speak engineering at all times. I love all the work they do and it's beautiful, but sometimes I need a glossary. And so I want to introduce a few terms that I've already used. One is the baseline needs. It is the primary reason we're here. Why are we doing this project? And some of the things that we heard over and over consistently are safety, the need for active transportation facilities so people are not walking on the shoulder, connectivity because it's scary to run across the street without a signalized intersection, and then transit improvements and just the really the big barrier of having not a paired transit stop at Crescent Point. Some of the contextual needs that we heard are related to personal security, wanting to make sure they felt safe as they were using active transportation facilities. Placemaking, this is an area we can build a roadway, well somebody else can build it and someone can design it, but what can we do to make this feel like your home? What are the different elements that we can work together to figure out whether it's art or a mural or something I probably haven't thought of, and we really want to work to understand what are those elements, but also partner to understand how do we deliver that, because some of these elements are pieces that we may have not done before, or we don't have a pathway to how we get it to completion, but we're going to go for it. The other one is we're phase one of a 3-phase project. We don't want to build anything we're going to tear up if we can help it. So one of the other pieces is we really want to work to make sure what we build now is compatible when we come back and design the next 2 phases. And then just the criteria, how well are we doing on how we're working? Are we meeting the needs that you guys helped us identify? Is there really tough conversations we all need to have because there's a trade-off, because there's some sort of major constraint that we can't get around? All right, this is a lot of words. I just put it up here and I'm happy to share this presentation as well, just to kind of go over in the details what the other 3 phases that we're going to be going through. And I would really love to hear from you. We're hoping that we can, at each of these 4 stages, kick off the preliminary, the alternative recommendation. We can engage in a conversation to hear your feedback. What are we missing? What do we not understand because we don't live here? And how can we design this to better meet your needs as we're going to construction? All right, next slide. So engagement, this is not a lot. I will readily embrace that because we really want to hear from you. Some of the things we're thinking about is some focus groups. We have reached out, and a lot of things that we've heard is a want to participate, but a lack of capacity, which is completely understandable and what's going on. So we're trying to work through showing up where there's a different events where we can give information, but also if there's places where we can support to have a 2-way communication to ensure we're sharing the information, but you have a time and space to give out your feedback and to work through whatever details we might need to work through that we don't understand. And we're going to be looking to do that soon. So all of our information is at the end of this slide. I'll also give it to you, Joel, if you're or Devin, if you're able to post it online. I welcome you to reach out if you have an event you want us to go to. If you would love to talk to us, and we'd love to talk to you, and we can start working through what works for you as we're trying to get feedback in what forums, whether it's here, whether it's something informal. We probably shouldn't, but we both carry our cell phones at all times, so it works. But hopefully this is the first time, and from here we'll have a lot of details that are not just the needs. So the next step is really to show you some of those options. I think that's my, yep, there's all of our contact, and the next time I'll have my engineer, if we get engineering. But I also welcome questions now, if anybody has any. Yes, sir.
I saw that you guys were awarded, you have $4.6 million, but construction is unfunded. If I'm understanding correctly, was $4.6 million spent on the feasibility study of this?
No, that's going to fund the design and the right-of-way that we might need in places. So there's 2 different types of right-of-way. I'll tread very lightly. There's temporary that we might need as we're doing construction, and permanent. We're not far enough along to know how much right-of-way we have. We could have a little extra, we could not, but right now we're estimated that we're fully funded through design and through the right-of-way, whatever that happens to be.
I have a property right off of South 33rd there, and I sent an email once to the community advisor, whatever it was, so I would appreciate that. Yes,
Which roadway is it? I'm so sorry.
I said I own a property off of South 33rd Street.
Okay.
It's like the first driveway turn in after you make that drive. And I signed up to be a community advisor for this project. So
we have that email. So right now we have we've gotten 5. We've reached out to about 25, and so far capacity has been a really big issue. We have emails ready to go to the 5 that have reached out that they had capacity and they wanted to be involved. So that's kind of what we're rolling into now, is seeing if anybody else has capacity as we roll into the step where there might be group places for feedback, but also acknowledging we want to hear from you, and if it's not in a group or extra time, we'll figure out a different way to hear from you.
That's all the time we have for today, but thank you so much. We'll share this out.
All right, so we got 10 more minutes. If you guys want to stay longer, that's great. But we got to speed it up a little bit. Next up is Blair Scott and Alani Case with King County Stormwater Services.
We're gonna keep it fun.
Yeah, I'll go fast. No problem. Yep, so my name is Blair Scott. I'm a water quality planner with Stormwater Services in King County. And basically that means when it rains and lands on hard surfaces, the water runs off, we figure out how to manage that.
And I'm Ilani Casey, and I'm an enrolled tribal member of the Tlingit Nation, and I'm the community engagement specialist for DNRP Waku Stormwater Services.
Okay, so we're here to talk about the Stormwater Management Action Plan, or we like to call it the SMAP. And this is something that's driven by the Washington State Department of Ecology, and it's something we have to submit to them by March 31st of 2027. And it's going to include a list of specific short-term actions within the next 6 years, and a list of long-term actions within the next 7 to 20 years, as well as some land management and development strategies, or actions needed for water quality management, or focused or enhanced customized implementation of stormwater management actions. So that's what we have to report to ecology. Next slide, please. And updating stormwater infrastructure is a significant need in our region. The Puget Sound region, most of the development, the large majority of the development happened prior to the early 90s, and that's well before we really had any regulations on development doing anything about water quality and controlling stormwater in the way we know how to now. And so we're going in and trying to look for opportunities to update the drainage infrastructure. And we're hoping to do this in a way that we can achieve other benefits besides just controlling the water. So obviously trying to manage for what we're thinking is going to be increased frequency of intense storms with changing climate, affecting positive health outcomes, encouraging workforce development with the implementation and management of these stormwater treatment options. And then
Speak a little bit louder.
Sorry, empowering youth engagement, improving roadway and neighborhood walkability, increasing green space, and creating safe and inclusive gathering spaces. These are all things we're looking to achieve by what projects come out of this work. And then we're hiring a consultant team that's sort of we're in the process of doing now. And these are the things that the consultants are going to be helping us with. So yeah, reviewing the information that exists, coming with us to engage community members on confirming our approach to this work, and doing some initial feasibility study, and then helping with site selection. And then we have some money for doing initial design as well, 10% design on the priority projects, and then buttoning that all up into a report. Okay, and then this is just showing the folks that we're coordinating with internally to King County, really highlighting that we're trying to find multiple benefits with the projects we prioritize. Trying to think about how we can, if there's a roadway improvement happening, look for a way to update that stormwater infrastructure. Next slide, please. And this is the very high level idea of our timeline. Like I said, we're just in the getting to know people, putting our faces out there, seeing who's doing what, so that we can start this work well. And so we had an internal meeting with King County folks, most of which were on the previous slide. And then this quarter we'd like to engage the Skyway community more formally, and have a project workshop of some sort. I mean, Ilani, we're still figuring out what that's going to look like, but I'm hoping to do that by the end of this first quarter. Then second quarter, once we have the consultants on board, We're going to do some data collection and review because there's been drainage studies in this area before, and we don't want to recreate the wheel. And then we'll continue to do community engagement throughout this process. And then third and fourth quarter of 2025, we're going to do some feasibility analysis, priority project location identifying, and that's going to be driven by community members. And then, yeah, then just continuing to look for those multiple benefits across work that's being done by the county. And then we're going to develop a project ranking with criteria that's going to be developed with community members, and then continue to do engagement and internal coordination, and then compile all the findings into a final project, and we'll be doing, like I said, up to 10% design as funding allows for the priority projects. Okay, I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, this is sort of just like, hey, this is going to happen. Yeah.
I actually have a comment.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but Skyway has a significant population of homes that are on septic.
Yeah.
And when we have problems with stormwaters on 80th Avenue South and other streets in Skyway here, that really impairs the ability of the homeowners' drain field to work properly with all the water sitting on the lawn.
Yeah.
So that comes off the street. Like my property, it's slanted towards the street, and all the water comes right into my front yard. Thankfully, the drain fields are back, but the neighbors aren't so lucky. So I'm wondering if you guys are taking that into consideration when you're like designing these systems,
Yes.
things like that, and we're collaborating with Skyway Sewer Water.
Yes to all those things. And I mean, those are the types of things we want to hear and be aware of. And I don't know if you've filed any drainage complaints associated with any of those issues, but we have a GIS map that shows us where all the drainage complaints have happened, and we're going to be looking there as well. And
So there's no drainage on my street, but I'm just afraid of filing a drainage complaint, and then you guys come and tell me I have to put a culvert in or do something, and spend a bunch of money on my property when I don't want to. Is that a possibility?
I have no idea without knowing the details, but I mean, we want to help solve those types of issues and find ways to have whatever solution would be beneficial to whoever it impacts. Yeah, not just, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Thank you.
Questions? No? Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, so we got a little bit more time. If you guys want to stay a little longer, that'll be fine. But
Good
if not,
stuff's
you can
coming
go. But next up is Margie from the VFW, and then followed by Margie, it'll be Paula from Lake Ridge Garden Club. We gotta pass them. I'm the pass that person. I already know.
Welcome, Margie Lindberg. I am a resident and I am also the auxiliary president for Skyway Post 9430. VFW stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars. And if you would, people can pass those out. That is our QR code. It will take you to our website and to our newsletter. We have had a fabulous holiday season. We had Christmas parties. We served, we made food baskets. We had gifts for all of the elementary schools as they were. But I do want to talk about, I know we were on a time crunch. I do want to talk about some of our really big events that are coming up. And all of our events that you will see on our calendar are open for the community. It'd be nice if there's a phone number on there you can call and reserve for dinner reservations so we know to have enough food. The first one is called our Heroes Holiday. That's this upcoming Saturday, January 25th. There will also be an auction. We use this money to take soldiers from Fort Lewis and JBLM, Joint Base Lewis McChord, to the Rainiers games. We take soldiers and their families to the Rainiers games. And in the winter, we take them to the Thunderbirds hockey game. February 16th is our annual champagne breakfast. This is our 41st year that we've been doing it. Breakfast is at 10 o'clock. There'll be an auction. And if you want to stay later, we will be having chili for lunch. And the cost is just $15. February 22nd, this is a really important one. I don't know how many of you know, I'm not going to go into a lot of statistics and things. Veteran suicide is at an all-time high. So we are having a Veterans Support Suicide Awareness and Resource Fair. So I was hoping that maybe some of the gals from King County could come, but we have several organizations already signed up to come and be there. A lot of veterans, especially young veterans coming home from Iraq, Afghanistan, they are not aware of all the benefits they are deserving of. So are they receiving their benefits and the support they deserve and entitled to? For elder veterans, you know, is your family aware of the location of service papers and your wishes for when you're gone? Service members can be buried at Tahoma National Cemetery at no cost. So we want to help you. We want to help veterans, and if you have families, neighbors, please let them know. I passed out the QR code. All of that information can be found on there. This is February 22nd. It will be an open house from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and go. We'll have some little, you know, snacky stuffs for breakfast and little things to pick on through the lunchtime. So this is also will be on the website. Chad Hasselbrook is our commander, and this the other contact other than myself is Marjorie Stetson. She is the state VFW Veterans Auxiliary Veterans and Family Support Chairperson. You know, it's not just the veterans, you know, it's active duty veterans, their families. Quick. March 15th. Oh, and I'm surprised Chafe isn't here. Fire District 20 is putting their lasagna dinner. If you haven't had their lasagna dinner, come. It's fabulous compared to my mom's, I swear to God. Please spread the word. We are a tremendous resource for veterans, and we are, like I say, open to the community. So thank you very much. Woo! You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Paula, Lakewood Garden Club. Thank you guys all for staying a little bit longer. Be done.
Just got a couple more reports. We're almost there.
Two. This one?
Just a real quick one. First, a big thank you to everyone who participated in our free wreath making in November. And we also always honor the fire district, who always hosts us monthly. Plus, they do our wreaths, taking them, put them up and take them down. So we're grateful for all of what they do for us too. What else did I say? We're planning on, we have our tentative meetings. Our meetings are at this point, oh, they're there. Oh, I didn't see it before. Okay, all right, so I won't repeat it, but just information that we're wanting to get new members, and 12 noon during a weekday is not ideal for most people. So we're doing some options on that. We're working through that. Some of the projects that we want to do, it was interesting with the schools, that we are hoping to connect with the principals. That was at our last meeting. We were talking about to get involved with schools and doing some projects with gardening for them and skills they can take home or just use at their schools. So we don't have a lot of at this point, so it'd probably be one school, but it was interesting. There's a couple of opportunities I heard tonight where we could be involved. Potential speakers, these are always free. Contact is lakeridgegardenclub@gmail.com, or we're on the Facebook site as well. MTASOL, anybody have any questions?
Are you doing another plant sale soon?
We hope to, yes, do it again in May, I think. Yeah, it was really well attended, and we really had a great time, and it'll still be at the Methodist Church, the Bryn Mawr United Methodist Church site, and we may be joining with them to do
community yard sale.
Well, yes, that's exactly it. Thank you. Okay. So
right.
it may even be a better integration.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you so much, all. She's the last report, and then I will do a couple written reports if you are interested in hearing about them.
We jump to Energize first, and then we can do.
Oh, Energize. Energize. Very good.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Ayana Brown, and I am the co-founder and executive director of the Elijah Brown Foundation. Many of you know me, some of you don't. So this foundation is in honor of my late son, Elijah Brown. If you've been in Skyway any length of time, I know this is rampant, so it's probably hard to keep up with. But Elijah is the 12-year-old boy who was shot and killed at the 7-Eleven on MLK and 129th back in 2010. So I am his mom, but Elijah always said he wanted to make a difference in his community, and this kid started his own business when he was 9 years old, cutting grass here in Skyway, and he took his money, he bought his own school supplies. We never told him he had to do that. He just did it. Elijah was notorious for feeding people. When he would, see someone panhandling, he wouldn't give money, but he'll ask you if you're hungry. And if you said yes, he was feeding you. Elijah also loved playing football. The day that he died, he was leaving Renton Walmart buying a pair of football cleats. Never made it home. The day after he died, my husband and I went in his room, and there was this 3-ring binder sitting on top of his TV in his room. My husband opened it, and we found Elijah's budget. This boy put pen to paper and did some math and figured out how much money he needed to have for his $160 registration fee for the upcoming football season. So we're thinking about Elijah's words of, I want to make a difference in my community, and we thought about all of that. And so basically Elijah's hands picked up where Elijah left off at. So every year we partner with King County Fire District 20 at the Community Health and Safety Fair, and we're giving away backpacks at that time. On Thanksgiving Day, my standard disclaimer is, if you're sugar-free, salt-free, gluten-free, I'm sorry. That ain't the meal for you. You can come and sniff the food, but we're cooking, and we actually started out at the VFW. That's where we were hosting initially, and then we moved from there, and we partnered with Renton School District, and so now we are at Tally High School every year, and it is on Thanksgiving Day. It is free. You're free to come volunteer, you're free to stay and eat, all of the above, right? And then we also have a scholarship piece for kids who want to play a sport or go to a camp and their parents are having some financial constraints. We give a small scholarship to help offset the cost of that, because of that boy having a budget trying to help his parents. So that's who we are, that's what we do. Our next event, well, the first one of the year will be April the 29th. That is the day that Elijah transitioned. And so when we lost Elijah Skyway became like family to us. I can't prove this, but I swear had this happened anywhere else, we wouldn't have been loved on the way we were here in Skyway. So Skyway became our family. So every year on April the 29th, it doesn't matter what day of the week it falls on, it is going to be April the 29th. We have a community family reunion. And so Skyway Grocery Outlet has been hosting us. The first 2 years we did it, we were at the 7-Eleven where he perished. We quickly outgrew that just because of the crowd. And so we have been at Skyway Grocery Outlet every year. And so yeah, we'd love to see y'all there, April 29th. And again, what does a family reunion have? Food. So there's food, there's live entertainment, we got a DJ there. It's just like at the house, the kids are running around playing, the grown-ups are playing.
prizes.
Yeah, raffle prizes, and then since COVID, we kind of turned it into a community hub for events, and so there's been different organizations there, King County Metro, Department of Local Services, King County Fire District 20, health departments, Seattle, King County Health Department. All of those different entities have been there. We've had, oh my God, first aid, bystander first aid, CPR training, car seats. Just a lot of folks, y'all, has been there. And so I invite all of you to come be a part of us. Thank you, and good night.
All right, Neil, you're next with Energize program, and then I will do written reports.
Sorry, I left my bottle of water.
Hi everyone, Neil Larson with the King County Executive Climate Office. I'm here to talk to you tonight about our Energize program. Some of you may have heard of this program. We've been running it for about a year and a half. We've been installing heat pumps in the Skyway, West Hill, and the North Highline White Center, unincorporated urban parts of King County. So we just want to give you all a little bit of update on the program and what we have planned as we expand this program this coming year. And then also talk about some upcoming workshops that we have planned in the community. Next slide, please. I just want to note that this program is funded by the Washington State Climate Commitment Act, which is, through this funding, have multiple millions of dollars to continue this work in 2025. Next slide, please. So a little update. Who here has heard of the Energize program or know anybody who's participated? Okay, great, awesome. So yeah, we started it in 2023, and last year, 2024, have been installing heat pumps in people's homes. We're kind of reaching the end of this pilot phase. 103 households served either through our program or by connecting folks with partner programs like Seattle HomeWise or the King County Housing Authority. Next slide, please. So this upcoming year, like I said, we have state funding that we're going to be expanding this program. So we're expanding the geography beyond the confines of unincorporated King County. We're going to be doing a lot more than just heat pumps in people's homes. And then we're also going to be doing some different small businesses that are in small or single family homes. So in-home daycares, also known as family home child cares, as well as adult family homes. And again, our program's open to both homeowners and renters. So this is a map of how we're expanding the geography. So the kind of white areas are the unincorporated areas. From running the last pilot, there were a lot of folks that applied the program, but they were kind of just outside of that geography. So we've expanded it approximately 1 mile to the south and east. So this map is an interactive map on our website. So if you are curious or know anybody kind of in this general vicinity, you can put in your address to see if you are all within our community service area. But it basically runs down to 136th Street in Burien, up over the top of SeaTac, and then down along 518 and 405 on the kind of northwest side of Renton. Next slide, please. So Energize, we're offering full cost heat pump installations and other technologies as well. So we're going to be doing induction stoves, heat pump water heaters, heat pump dryers, electrical upgrades, as well as potentially some other insulation, ventilation, other types of appliances. King County is going to pay for 100% of it if the household is 80% of area median income or below. And then we also have a partial cost coverage option where we pay 80%, homeowner pays 20%, and that's for households that are between the 80 and 120% of the area median income. It's only in single family homes, so no like condominiums or apartments, but it is open to either homeowners or renters. If you're a renter, the qualification is based on the rental income, not the landlord's income. but the landlord does have to sign a landlord agreement about limiting rent increases for, I believe it's 3 years after the installation. Sorry, could you just go back one more? And then for the family home child cares or the adult family homes for this program, you just have to be licensed with the 2 state agencies that register those as well. This is the income chart just for your reference of what this looks like for currently for 2024-25. This will go up, I think, in May when they release the new numbers. So the status of this program, we started some workshops. We had a couple workshops specifically for adult family homes a few weeks ago. We've got upcoming workshops for family home child cares on the 27th and February 12th, and then for single family homeowners and renters in person at the King County Fire District 20 admin building on Wednesday, February 13th in the evening. We've got one down at the Ceola Gardens Community Center. That's down in kind of the White Center area. That's on the 26th of February, and then we're having an online one on the 27th. If you go to kingcounty.gov to energize, there's a link to register for these workshops. You can also scan this QR code, and I'll send this out to folks that come. Next slide, please. So yeah, the general energize process. We have these workshops where we talk about the program, about heat pump and other electrification technologies. There's an opportunity we can help you out with your application there. We can also, if you bring your income documentation, we can look at that and qualify you then and there. It's also, the applications can be online or a paper option. We take those applications, we score them. We score them based on household income, your existing home heating fuel type, and whether, for example, you have air conditioning or not. We also give extra points if you have seniors in the home or children in the home, and there's a couple additional criteria as well. We also see if there's additional possibilities depending on your geography. There could be some additional funding to fund weatherization, insulation, other types of improvements. Once you're accepted, there's some process of having the installers come out and provide a quote to King County. Once all that's approved, we issue work orders and the installers come out and install those technologies in your home. I think that's it. Any questions? Yeah.
Question about your outreach for fixed income seniors. You think you're being successful in it?
Our outreach?
Outreach and letting people know that this isn't a scam. It's real. Please apply.
Yeah, we're having these workshops, so we're encouraging people to come, and then we're also trying to partner with a lot of local community organizations and community partners to conduct outreach, preparing some in-language outreach materials as well.
But do you think it's been a little bit of a challenge getting the right participation? All participation is good.
Are you talking about from the pilot or
from the pilot?
From the pilot.
Facebook post that seniors trying to get firewood. So.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that. I know we haven't actually done a ton of analysis based on the pilot. There's certainly been some lessons learned. I think there was a lot of I wasn't around when that initial kind of outreach happened, but I know there was a lot of different postcard mailings, workshops, outreach through community organizations. I could see how some people might think this is a scam, but it's not. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you have any future with maintenance once these are installed? How do you follow up with people if they have issues with whatever?
So the heat pumps, and then the other technologies we're installing, they will all have some sort of manufacturer's warranty as well as an installer warranty. So, for example, the heat pumps that we have been installing, I believe it's a 12-year manufacturer's warranty. Along with those, they've been most of them have been Mitsubishi heat pumps. And then in terms of the maintenance is For heat pumps, there is maintenance involved, just like any other home heating system you have, where you have to kind of change the filters once a year and have it checked out. But yeah, we're working also on developing some educational materials and other ways to follow up with folks on education and maintenance for these systems, since most people are not necessarily familiar with them. But in the most part, it's no more involved than maintaining whatever type of heating system you currently have.
Thank you.
My contact info is here. I also have a couple flyers about the workshops and additional information. Thank you.
All right, well, that's all the speakers we have. I can go over a couple of written reports real quick. I think we have a handful. First and foremost, Skyway Sewer and Water, Cynthia Lemo, as she says, we're busy with several developer projects at various locations in the district. The 80th Avenue Street Sewer Extension Project funded by King County and the district is progressing very well. The contractor has completed boring under their Britton Ave to install the sewer main and now has South 128th Street closed, getting ready to open a trench and install sewer further north on South 126th Street. We expect to begin work next month on the first city sewer pump station and to install new pumps. Nick Musso from King County Parks Volunteer Program. The King County Volunteer Program is hosting 3 Saturday community volunteer projects at Skyway Park in 2025. We plan to further enhance our restoration site along Taylor Creek for Earth Month and by spreading mulch around plantings. This event is scheduled for Saturday, April 26th and is posted on our registration portal. Additional Saturday projects will be will be held on August 30th and November 15th. Sahar Arbab from King County Parks Youth Conservation Corps. We're excited to welcome 2 Youth Conversation Corps cohorts this summer. One cohort will be in White Center, and we hope to host the second one in Renton. The Youth Conversation Corps is a paid summer internship for local high schoolers entering 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. Interns learn about career related to parks and the environmental field through workshops, field trips, ecological restoration projects, and ecological restoration projects. We will share the application when it opens in April. Skyway Coalition with Rebecca Zabata. We're talking about Skyway Resource Center. We're excited that the building renovations are nearly complete. We look to announce the date shortly for the grand opening of our very own community-owned and operated Skyway Resource Center. Based on Skyway's voice, needs, and vision, the SRC will house partners and providers who will help support our families, youth, and seniors with family and mental health services, character and leadership, educational advancement, and economic empowerment resources. As a result of your year's community organization and advocacy, the SRC will also be accessible by community and partners to host events, celebrations, and space for everyone to connect and engage what's important to our Skyway neighbors. With thanks to our community and village of partners, elected and government agencies that have supported this extraordinary Skyway milestone. Skyway Housing and Green Space Project, formerly known as Brooks Village. This project is another deeply community-rooted need and vision led by decades of Skyway community planning. The Skyway Homeownership and Green Space Project is a lush, undeveloped 14.3-acre plot of land, officially known as Brooks Village, just north of Grocery Outlet in Skyway, off of Renton Avenue South, across from South 116th Place. Skyway Coalition, Homestead Community Land Trust, and Community Land Conservancy are working on an innovative community development on a section of the property. This site allows for about 57 new homes, which will allow first-time home buyers to own affordable homes that remain affordable to the future owners. The surrounding green space has potential for walking trails, urban farming to help address food scarcity and opportunities for green job training programs. To reduce harm of displacement, the Skyway Homeownership and Green Space Project will prioritize current and former residents of Skyway who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Our team is currently in negotiations with King County to transfer land to community and will continue to share updates as we progress in our timeline. Next up, Skyway Business Collective. In 2021, the Community Skyway Coalition, White Center CDA, and Comunidad formed a partnership called Union Community-Led Economy. Together, we're passionately advocating for King County to invest in Economic Alliance program for Black and King County. The Skyway Business Collective is a result of advocacy over the past 2 years. Our UCLE partnership with King County Local Services launched several program opportunities to build on and enhance our Skyway community-centered economic empowerment work. Many businesses, youth, and residents participated in the Business Builder, Business Innovator, and Workforce Development internship programs. We look forward to continuing to identify opportunities to support our business and workforce, and excited to have a home for the Skyway Resource Center. If you'd like to connect for any of the updates or volunteer, please contact at skywaycoalition.org or visit skywaycoalition.org. Sierra Sisters, this is the last one, guys. Sierra Sisters, we celebrate the life and legacy of Skyway legend Bridget Hempstead, founder of the African American Breast Cancer Survivor and Support Organization Sierra Sisters, founder of the Skyway Health and Wellness Fair, author of nearly 24 reports published in the medical journals detailing the effects of racism and oncology, a beloved mother, grandmother, and friend of so many. After a courageous journey of breast cancer, she transitioned peacefully on December 12, 2024. Over 10 years ago, when she faced her second cancer diagnosis, she was given just 6 months to live. Yet she turned those months into years filled with love, purpose, and profound impact. Bridget's family and community meant the world to her, and she deeply cherished the life that God gifted her. Her strength and faith were an inspiration to all who knew her. If you feel moved to support Bridget's mission, donation to Sierra Sisters are a meaningful way to honor her life, work, and continue to fight against breast cancer. Learn more at sierrasisters.org. This year's World Cancer Day event will be held at Langston Hughes Performing Art Institute on February 8th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join the Sierra Sisters for a day dedicated to raising awareness about cancer. This is an in-person event and will feature inspiring speakers, local vendors, and opportunities to connect with others affected by breast cancer. Let's come together and support each other and spread the message, hope, and love. Save the date and be a part of this important event. Search Sierra Sisters on Eventbrite to register.
Yeah, Miss Bridget!
All right, so that's all the community reports. Thank you guys all for staying additional 25 minutes. And yeah, no other words, no questions. Appreciate you all. Thank you for coming.
Take some food!